Welcome to Crappens. Don't wait a week for a new video. Join our Patreon at the Crappens On Demand level for instant recap access. Link in description. Enjoy the show. Oh, hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about Bravo stuff with us. I'm Ronnie. That's Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Thank you so much for being here today. We're so excited. It's a big day for us because we get to catch up with Real Housewives of New Jersey. I know it's, a rough season in a lot of people's eyes. I still really enjoy New Jersey, personally.
Yeah, me too.
Love it. New Jersey's always been a toxic goddamn mess, and I love it. I, have some Fuda problems, whatever, but you're always going to have problems on a show that you love, guys. That's how life goes. But I'm enjoying it. We're glad to be back with it. Thanks for being with us. Check out video over on Patreon and also our bonus episodes. This week we are going to talk about what we did in Europa, and we are also going to do a Real Housewives of Orange County trailer trash, which is where we trash a trailer. It's going to be fun times. Also this week, guess what comes back? House of the Dragon, which means our Game of Thrones podcast is returning. It is called Winter is Crappening. You can find that on its own feed, Winter is Crappening, or right here on this feed. Okay? So we'll see you. Don't forget to watch that on Max HBO. We will be doing that this week. Okay? You have anything to say, Ben, before we get into it?
What I was going to say is I just hope that for House of Dragons this time they invest in some lighting for the show. Like, I would love to see more than just like some closed captions and a black screen. Because that's basically what season one was.
Excuse me, it's called a blue screen, and no, you cannot see anymore. It's stylistic. It's like people dating me, asking for more lights. You're never going to get more lights, okay? You're going to see a blob coming at you in the dark, and that's just how I felt.
A few torches.
A few torches here and there. The flicker of a phone as I get a text. That's all you're going to see, okay? That's going to be a good one. I'm so excited to see all the different Aegons. I've really missed the Aegons, I've got to tell you.
I know. I'm excited. We're going to have a fun time with that.
So, Aiden and Jen. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what happened last time. Had a bougie party for kids. I got a bougie party because I'm going to have a kids' night in Fashion Week. Can you believe it? They're letting me into Fashion Week. No, I can't believe it. Who the fuck is letting you into Fashion Week? And then this week we get to see these fashions, and they're fucking terrible.
Awful.
They're terrible. Even by Jersey standards, those are terrible.
This is when we need the House of the Dragon lighting. Let's just have it a black screen. Let's just have those kids walking in the dark because we don't need to see it.
No, we don't even need the House of the Dragon lighting. We need the House of the Dragon dragons. Burn it all to the ground, I say. Sometimes there's just no starting over. You just need the cleansing fire of a gigantic mall-sized dragon.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. Now, I mean, like, maybe that's why that king, his cheeks were falling off of him in that show because he had witnessed bougie kids. It was like, that would make my skin fall off too.
Bougie kids. So she had a bougie party because, I can't invite everyone to the thing because, it's like, I got to invite family and friends. You haven't completely cut off every family and friend member that you have because you're a cutter-offer, ma'am. Okay, cutting off your poor defenseless father. So basically what she's saying is she did not invite Teresa, but she did invite Melissa because Melissa has been her mentor, LOL, because of Melissa's corn dog kiosk or whatever the fuck she runs with fake Chanel bags coming out by the dozen. So Melissa has been her mentor. So of course she's got to invite Melissa to bougie kids.
Yeah, and which we know is going to turn into an issue that she invited Melissa instead of Teresa. Didn't pop up this episode, but I'm sure in the next one or in two it will be a thing. And so she has this brunch for all the women to go to celebrate bougie kids, and Rachel Fuda is there, and Rachel and Teresa are having an issue. Rachel Fuda, we've been really down on the Fudas this season. I didn't mind them last season, but this season they're doing too much. And I think that they're really at fault for why people are not reacting well to the season because they're being so over the top about something stupid. I mean, when your vibe last season with John Fuda is like, yeah, whatever, this stupid lady's doing lady things. And then this season when Teresa says, oh, he's a drug dealer and he's going to like they're going to make this a thing. Like Teresa's just saying some stupid bullshit, and they're turning it into the cornerstone of their storyline. Like, why would you call him a drug dealer?
Because
It's
he
just,
was a drug dealer. I'm
but it's
sorry.
like,
Sorry,
it's not.
you were.
It's
And when he was 17, he was a fucking drug dealer. Who cares? Like, give me his number. You know what I mean?
it's not compelling enough of a feud. It's not. It's like it's the Fudas are taking it like from 0 to 70, and it's just not. It just feels like a reality show feud as opposed to some of the other things that we see on these shows, friendships, realigning, etc. So I think the fact that this is dominating so much of what we're watching is, I think, turning people off.
Yeah. I mean, it's. And also, a man yelling at a woman isn't great, John Fuda. I mean, it's really a bad
Yeah.
look for you, sir. That you're making your whole thing like, okay, I'm gonna come on, I'm gonna get the second season Housewife glow up, I'm gonna get some lipo, and make myself an IMDb page, and then I'm gonna come start yelling at women. I don't think so, sir. Okay, you're acting like a drug dealer. Stop it. So he also, by the way, was a drug dealer. I think it's very important to say that because I feel like we need to stop giving drug dealers a bad rap. Do you know how hard drug dealers work to get me drugs? Occasionally, when I need them and other people need them, you can't just go into a goddamn CVS, okay, and get those. People are putting their lives at risk to get me drugs. And especially when it's just weed. That was just weed. So leave the man alone. He was doing a service. But also, John Fuda, don't be such a wuss. You were a fucking drug dealer. And you guys can't use this whole thing of like, but we have children. You can't say that. It hurts the children. Well, didn't you spend the whole last season talking about Jaden's mom and how she's in drugs? She's a drug addict and gave up her son because she was a drug addict and went to prison and all that. Well, that hurts her kid too. So you guys don't get to have it both ways. Okay. You started it. And if someone says you were a drug addict, you say that was when I was 17, grow the fuck up. You've been to jail much more recently. The end. Stop letting it get you like this. You're not a housewife. No one hired you for that, sir. Back down.
Yeah, I think it's just it doesn't. It feels like these are people who are like felt that after their first season they didn't make enough of an impression, so they're going really hard to really make sure they are centered in the show, and they have been centered in the show. They're like really centered, and there's too much other stuff going on for this to take up as much room on the show as it does. But that being said, I'm still enjoying it as well. I'm with you on this. I think the show is still really entertaining. I'm not at a place where I'm like, I don't want to watch anymore. I think it's a great cast, and I think they're still entertaining.
A lot of people are loving the Fudas too. There's the other side of it. Like last week when they were fighting at this bougie brunch, because one thing about Fuda, Rachel, well, both of them, but it's gross when he does it, but it's not gross when she does it because she is a housewife. But when she's fighting, it is really nice to see someone who doesn't give a fuck about Teresa and someone who's not afraid and someone who's just yelling right back in her face and calling her a loser and everything else, because this is the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And it is nice to see somebody fearless. So I like that about her. I think she's got that going on. But people were like, oh my God, she ate. Because last week when she came against Teresa and she was, like, you fucking loser, you've been to jail. What have you ever done? Well, first of all, what has she ever done? You're on the show that she's kind of the star of and has been for 14 years. So when she says, what have you built? Like literally this show, look around you because you wouldn't be here on the show probably if it weren't for Teresa. Like it almost crashed when she was in prison. Love her or hate her, and we do both. But then I thought that was pretty good though when she was like, "What did you build, you fucking loser? You've been to prison, all this." And then Teresa just goes, "Oh yeah, isn't your husband a pocket attendant or something?" And she's like, "She's like, oh yeah, Teresa, he's just a parking attendant." She goes, "Yeah, so maybe a drug dealer will be better. Maybe it'll be better." Blink, 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 blink. And I thought that was so good. So when people are like, oh my God, Fuda ate. Yeah, but Teresa ate harder, Fuda was a little fish that came and ate something, but then Teresa was a whale and she came and ate that shark. So credit where it's due.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. And then the Jackie and Marge rift continues to grow, which it just has me. I'm like, really, that to me is like the bigger story here. I think that's like terrible. I hate that they are not like friends anymore. It just seems like, I don't know what happened. I think that
I do.
What
But I want to hear your theory.
Okay, my theory is this, because this is what I've noticed that happens with people in general a lot. When people are going through like a tough time or whatever, and then they finally come out of it, I have noticed that whereas you would think the people that helped them through that tough time, they would cling on to harder because it's like, wow, you supported me in my darkest hours. A lot of times, people actually cast off those friends because I think it reminds them, those people remind them of the hard time that they went through. And I think actually that may be what Jackie is doing right now. She obviously is, she has been very public about her eating disorder and going through it. And she has been healing, and it's been really wonderful to see. And I would not be surprised if she is like, if Margaret may remind her of some of her dark moments, that she was personally facing.
Do you think it's like when you loan somebody money and then they resent you for it?
Um, I
I don't
I
know
don't.
why. I don't know why I'm comparing it to that. It just seems like the similar kind of thing. Like somebody helped
I
you, but then you're resenting the help because it reminds you of the fact that you needed them or
Well, I had a
whatever.
friend. How about this? I had a friend whose husband left her up and left her out of nowhere, and then took her in and helped her out a lot. And then when she sort of got back on her own 2 feet, like that was sort of like we didn't hang out again after that. She sort of like went on and made new friends. And I think that well, maybe I was just annoying as fuck. I will totally be open to that. She's like, whoa, I'm not going to do that again. But I kind of think that like if it wasn't just me, there
No.
was actually a few different people, and I think that we reminded her of like a terrible time in her life, and
That's interesting.
yeah. So I think
Well,
that,
my
that
theory
could be
on
part of it, or
my
one
theory
aspect.
on this, and I say I know I don't know. Of course I don't. But what I think, my guess is what happened there is an Ozempic fight. And I take that. I take weight loss medications, not Ozempic specifically, but I take semaglutide shots or whatever to lose weight. And guess what? I don't care. So come after me all you want, commenters. But it's really helped me a lot, and I think it helps a lot of people. But one thing that is happening in the country, and we're seeing it happen, is people fighting, people attacking people who are taking it, people abusing it, people who don't really need to be taking it just to be thin. And there are all sorts of unhealthy things going on with it, both people using it or using it incorrectly or whatever. But it's also really helping a lot of people. So, I say thank God for that shit. But anyway, we're seeing a lot of Ozempic fights in the country or in the world. I noticed it in the country because that's where I live. But people fighting about it and people getting really nasty with each other and literally families going to war over this stupid thing. And I think that's what happened. I think it's a good old fashioned Ozempic fight. I
Yeah.
think Margaret is taking Ozempic and Jackie has an eating disorder. And now, because Jackie is eating disordered and open about it, she's extremely sensitive to eating issues. And so it's triggering her. And she talks about this publicly. She's talked about it in interviews that it's very triggering for her as someone who is struggling to eat, right, and to not be anorexic, which is her problem. So she's right. She's anorexia or bulimia? I'm sorry if
I
I'm
think it
getting
was
it wrong. It's been a
anorexia.
while, but I think that it's very triggering for her, and I think that Marge is like, "Fuck off." You don't
Yeah.
get to judge me. I'm fucking taking it and it's helping me. Fuck off. Like, I get that you have an issue, but it's like if your friend is an alcoholic, you can still have a martini. Well, you sure can, but not necessarily in front of them all the time at every single dinner and get sloshed. You know what I mean? And so I think that there's something there, and I don't know that it's rational, but I don't want to call it irrational either because I know that it's really rough to have an eating disorder because I am eating disordered. So I get that side of it too. But I think it's my guess is this all stems from Ozempic.
And you know what? Well, I think actually both things can be true. And of course, there's the third aspect, which is that Margaret is like mourning. She's been in a year of mourning with Jan. And that's tough. And they both are probably in a place where they are kind of feeling very vulnerable and they kind of want to take more than they want to give. They want to take emotional support. And I think they both are probably in a place where they both want to be supported more by each other and they both can't really give that to each other. And so as a result, they're both kind of viewing each other as being selfish. Like, you don't know what I'm going through. Like, I need you right now. No, well, I need you right now. So I just am like sad because I felt like they had like a really good friendship. And now to see Jackie go over to Teresa and Jennifer, who we know that Teresa and Jennifer don't give a fuck about Jackie. Jennifer might a little bit, but they purely have embraced her only because she's turning against Margaret now. And I just feel like it's sad to watch it.
It's really sad, and Jackie looks really sad. She doesn't look good. She looks her eyes are puffy, they're glazed over, they're bloodshot. She looks sad, like literally sad. So I don't know what's going on over there, but she's not looking good. And another aspect to this is that Jackie lost her job. Like you got fired, you got demoted, and you're still going to the office every day with people who were not demoted. And you're like, well, why is nobody sticking up for me? It's like Margaret wanted everybody to band together to quit the show if they kept on Teresa's husband or whatever. And they didn't do that. You know, Jackie said no, so there's the resentment there. But it's like, well, why aren't you standing up for me when I got demoted? Why isn't everybody threatening to quit when I had problems? So there's probably that too. Now, granted, this is all stuff we have no idea about. We're just shooting the shit about. So who knows what's right? But there's a lot going on, and I think that Jackie's probably just got a whole shitstorm of stuff going on that she doesn't feel good about. It's like she thought that was her best friend. Her best friend doesn't care that she got demoted, and all she's doing is thinking about herself. And now she's, you know, giving herself in Jackie what Jackie could be thinking, giving herself kind of an eating disorder when Jackie is fighting so hard to against that. Might seem disrespectful to Jackie, and so she's like, well, shit, I need to get back on this show, and if it means being with people who hate me, obviously those people don't like me very much anyway, so fuck it, I'm gonna go to the dark side. But it's eating away at her soul, like in movies where people start going to the dark side. It starts eating at their soul. Listen, you don't take off Darth Vader's mask and he doesn't look healthy. Okay, he looks sad.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything about his respiratory system that sounds healthy.
He never looked good.
You look great. Luke.
Yeah, it's
I am your. Put your weight on me. Put your weight on me.
Put your weight
on me.
tighter. Excuse me, Luke.
Luke, I'm your father. Hug me. Hug me tighter. Hug me tighter, Luke.
Okay, well, we probably could just go on and on and on about this relationship between these two people.
We will.
We will for a long time. But we actually have a show to recap, so let's get back into it. You would never know.
You would never know it.
Well, we're just yapping away. But I mean, it's like there's stuff, you know. This is
well, we got to catch up. We missed a whole recap, and you know, a lot of times we just get so involved in like, let's see these stupid voices and that we miss talking about this stuff. And that I did believe that was a real friendship, and so it was hard to watch it as a viewer.
And that's why
it's hard watching it.
And to circle all the way back, like that's why I'm like upset that the Fuda thing has been centered, because I actually think that this Margaret and Jackie thing is much more compelling because it's something that a lot of us have gone through, like a friendship. You're tight, and then all of a sudden it doesn't. Then it's like where it's going away and it's gone, and like why is it? Why did it happen? And like you already related it to a personal story in your life. I related it to a personal story in my life. It's just a much more relatable thing, and I think it should really be. I'm surprised that Jackie's not a full-time cast member, to be honest, because it really should be a main driver, not like John Fuda being upset that Teresa called him a drug dealer as part of like a stupid fight in the first episode. It's like it was not even like a whole thing that you know what? I don't even have to qualify it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think the show should focus on the real shit more than the Fuda shit.
Yeah, the Fuda shit is a bunch of bullshit. And
but
they're just
that being
not
said, I'm enjoying
enough.
it. I'm enjoying it.
So Aiden and Jen and Bill are in the kitchen talking to the kids. We're with the Aidens basically, and I don't know.
In the
It's
kitchen
it's the beginning of the show. It's like they're playing that '50s music, that it's that New Jersey, like the meatball music. I don't know what this would be called, like meatball sock hop or whatever. This genre, but it's just everybody starting their days.
And Jennifer Aiden's like, "What was that noise, baby? Did you hear it? It was like a shriek." And her kids are playing, and her daughter's like, "You scream like a little girl." And he's like, "What? Like, you know, like you're pinching me, so I made a high pitched." He's like, "I made a high pitched man noise." And Bill's like, "High pitched man noises. Did it sound sort of like this? Oh, oh."
He's like, "Yeah," and then Bill goes,
I know a thing or two about that.
That Bill laugh was hilarious. So then over with Danielle and her family, they're having a bougie fashion week for bougie kids. So her kid's like practicing the walk, and she's like introducing Valentina Cabral, and she does like a little sassy runway walk, and Danielle's like, "All right, can I get back to cleaning now? All right, gotta finish cleaning now, right?"
I'm like, why start? So
I'm
then
trying
we
to
go
figure out Danielle's specific mouth breathing because it's different than Dorinda's, but it's in the ballpark. So I'm trying I'm trying to
It's
figure
like-
it out. I'll get there.
start with Darth Vader, and then move from there.
Yeah, that's
Bougie kids, bougie kids, bougie kids.
In the galaxy far, far away, someone fucked with somebody else, and somebody made something that was made nice, and somebody was not nice, and they really back it up. The yell's just more like that. It's more the front of the nose, and
Yeah,
you know,
it's
it's more
fun.
of a
It's
lip
fun.
with the teeth.
See
Like
this
that.
back here. Yeah, that's fun. By the way, Darth Vader would never stand a chance against Dorinda. Dorinda,
No.
let me tell you something. You try to use the Force? You try to use the Force on me? You better back it up, because I made a lasagna. Okay, that's the real Force here.
You want to use the force on me? Guess what I'm going to use? Richard.
Why is this big red balloon chasing me so slowly?
Hey, you better watch out. Richard don't fuck around.
Please, big red balloon, leave me
You know what?
alone.
I like Darth. I think he's a little misunderstood. I think that, if you really think about Darth, he's just a guy in a mask. I'm going to invite him to the Berkshires. I think he'd get along with everyone.
All right, so then we go to Teresa's house, and Louis shooting basketball, huh? In the street, in the basketball court.
And hitting bricks. I just love a shady moment. Thank you, post-production. They showed Louis throw a basketball, and they just have it brick off of the rim. It was great.
So they're, being wacky, like, can I play the basketballs with you? He's like, oh, I love you. Be good at that, Tree.
Oh, Tree. And she's wearing some weird outfit. She comes out sort of like dancing. It's what she actually does in the opening credits, which, by the way, I have to say, I am still cracking up both when Dolores goes, hello, and when Jennifer goes, bingo. I laugh every single time in those opening credits.
So they're trying to be sexy. Teresa's like, you want me to wear this to the gym? You okay with that? You okay with that? And he's like, yeah, I know where you sleep at night. And ever since they said they fuck 5 times a day, I just feel like they smell.
They clearly smell. I don't even have to hear about them fucking to know that they smell. I mean, there's probably so many oils. You don't have that many like fake, Buddha statues in your backyard when you're like Louis and if you're like Louis and Teresa. It's one thing if you're Buddhist. If you're not Buddhist and you have that many statues in your like New Jersey backyard by your pool, you're probably gonna have a lot of smelly oils too. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Also, you're also gonna have a lot of debt, because I feel like people with a lot of Buddhas have a lot lot.
Yeah, and
They're just
they're
like,
probably
look how
like terrible
peaceful I
people.
am. Yeah, they're like, look how peaceful I am. I'm poor on purpose. I'm like, no, you're negative because you are overspending on credit cards and not having a job. Okay,
Buying
okay.
too
We
many
all know
novelty
your
Buddhas.
ass is living off Teresa. So stop fronting, sir, with your Buddhas.
So over in the Gorga household, they go and FaceTime with Antonia, and guess what? She's still in college, so that's nice.
My daughter's in college. Cry blink, cry blink. And then guess what? Antonia is also in college. Literally, do not give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. Please stop putting this on my TV, especially Melissa's children. I mean, Antonia's never done anything wrong. She seems like a real sweet girl. But Melissa, I can't. Why is Melissa still here? What is she doing? What does she do?
Yeah, she hasn't not really done anything this season. I'm gonna say this is probably gonna be her final season because she's just not doing anything. So Melissa's saying how she can't drink any alcohol today because she had so many Cosmos yesterday at the bougie brunch. So she's like saying it was such a dramatic day, Joe. He's like, really? He's like, yeah, it was just a really dramatic brunch. I mean, there was a part 2 where Danielle looked at Jen and Teresa, and actually she was like, did you guys set me up? Because that was the other thing that would happen in that brunch was that Danielle confronted Teresa and Jennifer about setting her up last year in Ireland. And of course they denied it a whole. Jennifer is still doing this thing like, no, baby, I never set you up. I never set you up. I was just telling you something. I was just passing along the news. You didn't have to say that stuff. You did it to yourself, baby.
But she's right. She did just offer it up to her. I mean, she totally manipulated this girl, but it's not her fault you're dumb enough to do it. You know what I mean?
Also, a big update from Jennifer Aiden. She posted this on Twitter a few days ago. She saw a coyote on her block, which means that we have now graduated from "There's a fox on the block, baby" to "There's a coyote on the block, baby."
I love her tweets. They're so random.
There's a coyote on the block.
That was the whole tweet.
It was.
I mean, you're just sitting in front of the window like,
Olivia, please turn down them Miserables. We've heard it enough. God, what am I going to tweet today? There's fox on my block.
tweet.
Wait, it's a coyote. Wait, it's just Bill wearing bunny ears. I'm all
Okay,
fours.
so Melissa's boring still. Breaking news to everybody. Here's where I think Teresa is making a really smart move. Even though Teresa's not the smartest, obviously, but I think here's a smart move that she's making by not engaging with Melissa at all. This is very smart because normally she'll fight with Melissa or she'll make little comments here and there about Melissa. This season, she's just pretending Melissa is dead and a ghost. She's not. Melissa's trying so hard to roll her eyes, to make snotty comments, to do all this stuff and like be on camera making these huge eyes every time Teresa enters a room, and Teresa is paying her dust, and we're really seeing what Melissa brings to the show now because she has no one to fight with, and it's nothing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I've been on Team Melissa since Melissa showed up. I've always been on her side, but I do have to admit she's really not doing anything so exciting this season.
Yeah.
So Melissa's basically recapping this brunch. It's like, oh, this is what you missed, everyone. So she's talking about how, like Danielle asked Jen and Teresa, did they set her up? And of course they tried to twist it and be like, no, of course not. But she says that Danielle is starting to realize that like, oh, to be friends with them, you have to have their back, but they don't necessarily have your back.
I mean, duh. So then we go to Teresa's house, and she's making food.
Listen, when it comes to Danielle, the duh, I don't think she gets all the does, like it's duh for us, not for Danielle.
Well, Danielle's a dummy, yeah, but I just fast forwarded through that scene already because it's a Melissa scene, so I just listened to your part of it, and that was good enough for me. So then we go to Teresa's, and Jackie comes over because they're friends now. So let's see how this goes. So Teresa's like,
Jackie, hi. Jackie's here. Howdy, Jackie's here. Jackie.
Hi, Teresa. I've only been over here once. I came over for your housewarming last year.
Oh, hey, come on over.
And so Jackie's
Good to have you here.
Teresa cannot be fake, and it's so funny. She's just, her face doesn't move. She sounds like she's smiling, but she's just like, like her face isn't moving at all. And I know that's partially surgery and fillers and Groupon, Botox and stuff like that. But it's also just partly because she can't fake it. And I love it.
So Jackie's like,
I'm really excited that I'm hanging out with Teresa. And if I was looking at this a year ago, I don't think I'd be able to explain to myself. But, I want to be surrounded by nice people and people that make me happy. So here we are.
I'm like, Teresa's the one you chose?
Teresa.
I've just really been looking for happy, nice people to spend my time with. So I seeked out Teresa Judice, and here I am.
I thought I'd hang out with the person who went around my husband's birthday party and told everyone that he was having an affair at the gym.
Yep. I decided to hang out with the person who ruined my parking lot party.
So Adriana walks in the kitchen, and Jackie's like, oh my God, I haven't seen you so long. I've actually never met you. This is only my second time ever being to this house. And Adriana is she's going to be a freshman. Or as Teresa said,
Yeah, she started freshman.
so I don't know what.
Yeah, in the school, there's got a freshman. She started freshman.
She started freshman.
Next
so
year she
then
could be soft drink. It's going to be crazy.
Jackie and Teresa trying to pretend that they're friends is so funny. Jackie's like,
Oh, that's right. So, Adriana, that's the one, she's a dancer, right? Well, she was a dancer, and then she stopped.
oh, she stopped?
She started volleyball instead of dancing. She's a volleyball now.
Oh. That's
Yeah, she's in
fascinating.
actual volleyballs.
She's a
Oh, yeah.
volleyball.
Yeah, because remember the other day at brunch, I wanted to leave. It was her volleyball game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I left the brunch, because I just wanted to see her play the volleyball, right?
And that was not why you left the brunch. You left the brunch because Fuda was feasting on you to get some airtime. That's why you left the. And also, I have to say, when she did leave the brunch, I was cracking up. She's like,
All right, now, I'm going to go because Adriana got some volleyballs.
and so she gets up and then she takes a party favor. This is like even the tackiest party favors for this bougie thing. She's taking out like a whole tray of stuff that's like
Bougie kids.
like I'm leaving, just trying to make your way to the parking lot with this huge parade float of crap from the dollar store that What's Her Buns has rebranded from Bougie Kids.
This is basically a recurring theme this season because I feel like the first episode, Teresa was also getting into a huge fight at the Fuda party and then still was like, but hold on, let me get my free stuff too. It's also very like Alexia and Marisol.
Yeah.
So getting their free jeans from Dr. Nicole's brunch. So then we go back to the Gorga house and Melissa's saying how Jackie was like trying to like vibe with Jen and Teresa, and Joe's like, what? And she's like, yeah, I thought I was in Twilight Zone. So now we go back to Jackie and Teresa. And Jackie's like, I was very grateful that Margaret wasn't there because I just was like not in the mood. Am I right, girlfriend? Like we're best friends. We both hate Margaret now, right?
Yeah, you know why I can't believe Sherlock Holmes wasn't there? Huh? Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes missed it? Oh my God. I can't believe Sherlock Holmes missed it. Guess who missed it? Guess who didn't come? Sherlock Holmes.
Jackie's just like, that's hilarious. God, I've missed these good times that we have together.
Hold on, I just have to go to the bathroom and just like remind myself that this is all going to be worth it because I'll be on TV again. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, Jackie, turn off the part of your brain that is acting up right now.
I love Teresa throwing shade at Margaret, calling her Sherlock Holmes, when Teresa and Louis are the ones who actively and who proudly and publicly have announced how they're best friends with Bo Dietl, an actual private detective.
We
Like,
actually
oh my
are the
God,
private detective.
Oh my God, she's like Sherlock Holmes. Oh, we're looking things up.
And it's like, you remember last season you guys were like,
Oh, we're best friends with Bo Dietl.
Maybe it's because Sherlock Holmes is like an old-timey private detective and they have a newer one. I don't know, but it's really weird. And then Jackie has now burned this bridge with Marge because she's going to Teresa's house to talk shit about Marge. I mean, that is just as low as you go. She's like, well, I just don't know where anything goes after this with Margaret. I mean, she just seems so angry, And that's not the way to go about making someone feel like they're wanted by you. Oh, you're not. You're no longer wanted. I can guarantee you will not ever be wanted again because this is shit. You can't do that.
yeah. So Melissa and Joe are still talking about it. Like they can't believe that Jackie's gonna talk shit about Margaret. They just can't believe it whatsoever. And Joe goes, well, you know what the old saying is, what can you do for me lately? Do ooh 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 yeah.
That is not the saying.
There's actually not a saying at all. What can you do for me lately?
What can you
Unless
do
it's
for me
on his
lately?
Instagram, where he has lots of strange sayings that he puts up there. Janet's is technically, what have you done for me lately? What can you do for me lately, Ronnie?
What can you do for me lately, huh?
It's like the old saying, piso mojado, wet floor.
Two birds in your hand. Why you got birds in your hands?
It's like the old saying, hey, is that the door?
It's like the old saying, my cup's running over because it's got too much shit in it. Now it's spilled on my shirt. Now what do I do?
Hey, it's like the old saying, babe, where are the forks?
So Gorga, we go to the Gorgas, or we're at the Gorgas. Sorry, never mind. We're done with that. So now we go to Teresa's house, back to Teresa's house, and Teresa's like,
Yeah, see, I love my friends because, they stand in their power because I love powerful women. I really, really do. One lady made me a unicorn horn out of a toothbrush, and I wore it on my forehead, and when anybody tried to mess with me, I bucked them like a unicorn, and they bled out their throats.
is this another prison story?
Yeah.
We're so close right now, Teresa. We are so close. Me and you.
Yeah, I never felt like you and I were okay until just this moment when we realized we could have a common enemy.
Yeah.
And like just like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, but like no, cause like I just I want for you. I just want you to stand up for yourself all this time. That's all I want from you.
She did stand up for herself against you.
I
you
know,
fucking
multiple
monster.
times. She literally said your daughter does coke in the bathroom as a way to get through your thick skull.
No, she said, "What if I said your daughter
What if
does
I
coke
said?
in the bathroom?" Yeah,
You're right.
So just before we start a Real Housewives of New Jersey war, so Jackie's like, I was just such a broken person for such a long time, and Teresa goes,
Nah, no. I mean, look at you. Like, I can see. Like, you're not, like, it's not like you're Sherlock Holmes or nothing.
But I'm not broken anymore. I'm not. I swear I'm not. I'm not broken. And she's like, yeah, I'm like so proud of you for whatever it is that you're broken from and fixed from. I don't know. And she's like, thank you so much. And like, I feel like the energy coming from you and Jen is just like, it's just like so much lighter and like so much more fun.
That's Teresa. That's Teresa and Jen. Light. Love and light. Those two. And Teresa's like,
Yeah, we're all about having fun.
oh my God. By the way, Teresa, when you called John Fuda a parking attendant, I mean, I almost fell off my fucking chair.
Well, that's what he is. He's a parking attendant.
Yeah, but I was afraid I couldn't. Teresa, that's not what he is. And Teresa just is like, blink, 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 blink.
But
I'm
he's
like,
parked cars. But we all park cars. You're a parking attendant too?
and she's like, but how did you stay so calm, Teresa? Now, I think that's a question we're all asking because this is a different season for Teresa. She is staying calm. What's up?
I think that Louis is prepping her, sort of annoyingly. He's probably like, okay, Teresa, she's gonna try to go off on you, and you gotta stay calm. You gotta do what the Buddha does by the pool. Stay calm.
But he's so fat.
Well, just do it, more thinly. Do what the Buddha's doing. Just do it more thinly.
All right, let's practice.
All right. Teresa, you been to jail.
Fuck you, you goddamn bitch. I'll fucking kill y'all. I need this down.
No, Teresa, like Buddha.
I'm fat.
Good. Just use your inside voice.
Buddha has some real insecurities there.
Teresa's just projecting all her yoga health onto Buddha.
I think that Teresa is calm because it's so obvious what Rachel is doing that even Teresa can see it, and that's how you know you failed. Because if you can't outfox Teresa Giudice, then you need to go back to the drawing board on that one.
Yeah, and I think she's just sick of like these people coming for clout. It's like, oh, I'm going to go against Teresa for some clout. I'm going to become the new leader of this show.
And the jail thing is old at this point. Like in the first 1 or 2 years after she got out of jail, you couldn't mention it. But at this point, Teresa has gotten used to people flinging the jail thing at her, so it doesn't really affect her in the same way.
Well, also, and I can't believe I'm saying this about Teresa, I feel like I need to go to church after this recap. Honestly, I don't even know who I am today. But I feel like Teresa's kind of a badass now because of that. It's like, okay, I went to jail. Effect. Well, yeah, it's like I went to prison. I should have been down and out, but then the show failed without me. Then I came out of prison, and I not only paid my debt, I paid all of Joe's debt. I got the house all taken care of, and I'm sending all my kids to college by myself and flourishing. She's kind of a badass. So when you bring up the hardship, it's like you just look like the asshole. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're bringing it up too late.
Yeah, it's just too late. It's not landing in the same way.
Yeah.
If you really want to get her where it hurts, you go after the daughters. Let's be honest.
Go after
Let's be
They're putting
honest.
Gia on TV now. Let's just start going after Gia. That's how to do it.
Yeah, just be like, your daughter's a slut. That's all. Done.
Then you'll get her going crazy. That's funny.
You gotta really think about it, okay?
Yeah.
So
and look, you're right, because look who did that. Jackie. And Jackie technically didn't. Teresa's just a dummy and misunderstood what Jackie was saying. But in Teresa's mind, Jackie did come for her children, and she had the balls to stick with it and continue to go for Teresa that whole year. And now look who respects Jackie. Granted, I know that she's just using Jackie, but to even use her to the degree that she would sit down and be nice to her, there's got to be a certain respect there. So I think you're right. Yeah. That's a good theory. Do it. So, let's all start going after each other's children.
Yeah.
Kids, okay, here's a new rule on Bravo. Children are no longer off limits. Valentina, get it together.
So now we're at the Fuda house. And Rachel is FaceTiming Margaret. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, how are you? You know, you look adorable in green. I'm getting ready to go on a horse and buggy ride, which barely even makes sense. And so Margaret's down in Charleston to celebrate a birthday with some friends. We see some footage of her, you know, on a beach. I think a hurricane is coming in and we're all sitting in the rain having a good time. It's wild. It's crazy right now.
Literally nuts. There's a tsunami coming and us yentas are just sitting here having a good time.
Well, it's nice to know that a hurricane wants to hang out with us, unlike Jackie Goldschneider.
You know what? The hurricane can do a lot of things, but I'll tell you what it's not doing. Giving me shit about injecting myself with something that doesn't make me eat every Snickers bar I see. Okay.
At least this hurricane makes a bigger splash than Jackie in her local newspaper articles.
Weak sauce. Okay, weak sauce. So Rachel's like, I mean, I'm a little jealous right now about I'm just jealous right now about Margaret. I'm not gonna lie, okay? She's like, well, how was yesterday? Tell me everything. Tell me. I'm listening. Okay, there's a hurricane coming. Get to the part where you meet to Teresa.
I know.
Hurry.
So John walks in, so Rachel's like,
Of
I'm
course
telling her
he
about
does.
Mister.
Of course he does. You can't have a housewife scene without the big hairy galoot trying to be a housewife shoving his
know.
ass on the FaceTime. Come on in, Fuda.
He's really killing all his goodwill from last season. I don't even know how much goodwill he had, but I think like last season he just sort of stood there and got like his hair waxed off of him at parties. And now he's just like, oh gosh, John Fuda again. So Rachel's like, yeah, so it got really heated. And I said to her, like, what was your intention behind bringing up that John was the biggest drug dealer in Bergen County? Like, why would you even say that? And she kept on dancing around the question, like she wouldn't answer. She was like, I didn't say it. And I said, well, he was. And I go, but the point is that you took something that my husband made a mistake with when he was a 17-year-old kid and tried to weaponize it to make your fucking husband look better.
Oh my God. When you said that, she must have died. Like my friends and I are about to. Sitting on this beach waiting for a hurricane to come get us. Hilarious. Literally hilarious.
Hurricane, not Jackie Goldschneider, because this one actually has some power. So Rachel's like, she's like, yeah, we'll get this, Margaret. Teresa goes like this. She goes,
Oh, is your husband a parking attendant? Does he park the cars?
And John's like, hey, what's wrong with parking cars? I'm happy. I'm happy parking cars. And Margaret's like, oh my God, isn't her husband unemployed and mooches off of her? I mean, come on, give me a break.
and they both chuckle. By the way, Rachel Fuda's Teresa impersonation was actually really funny, and she needs to do it more.
So Margaret's like, gotta go. Everyone's getting in an Uber. And by Uber, I mean the whole of a big funnel that's coming down the beach. I mean, it's just yentas flying.
I am literally now on a yellow brick road. I don't even know how I got here, but I'm impressed I still have FaceTime coverage.
One of Denise's Manolos is here, but Denise isn't here. Denise, call me from up there. All right, call me from up there.
Oh my God, I'm being
Hilarious.
surrounded by like all of Teresa's children, except there's like 100 of them. Look at them all looking around. They want me to like go to some sort of city around here, some emerald city. I don't even know. It's Atlantic City. I don't know. I can't do it anymore.
Okay, so we go to Paulie and Dolores' date night. It's date night with Dolores. I'm so excited to be here, Paul. And he's walking by and he's like, I just want to make sure the merchandise is good, huh? Toots.
Come on, Paulie. We're late for a reservation at Restaurant Bonita by the river.
And they go in. They go in and she goes, oh, it's just so pretty here. Yeah. You know what the restaurant is called? Pretty. The word bonita
called
means
Bonita.
pretty.
Bonita by the river. So they sit down.
Pretty. They should call it pretty. So Dolores is like, hello, table for two. I don't know why. I love everything that Dolores says. It makes me laugh. So they go sit down, and she's like, oh, I like the gold silverware. We have that upstairs, huh, Paulie?
It kind of felt like they were still in their house, to be honest. It's like they did some set dressing and made it into a restaurant. So he looks at his watch. She goes, why are you looking at your watch? You never look at your watch. Well, you got to go somewhere to go. He's like, what? What are you talking about?
What are you looking at your watch for, Paulie? He's like, I want to see what time it is because I've got to see what I'm going to eat. She's like, all right. Well, I don't know how any of this is supposed to make sense, but what's fishy here? There is something fishy, right? Because he did look at his watch, and then he got real weird about it, and then he started acting weird that he was called out, and I was like, is he going to propose? Is he waiting for like a special opera singer to come in, or what's going on? But then nothing happened.
He, the thing is that like he didn't look at his watch normally. He, like normally if you look at your watch, you sort of just glance down, but he like lifted his arm up and was like, "Oh, what time is it right now on the God's green earth? It's okay. I'm looking at it right now. Let me do a yawn. Bored." It's like, sir, like of course she's gonna be confused by that demonstrative show of looking at the time.
Yeah, I didn't know, but it seemed fishy. And also, Paulie always this red faced because he's Louising right. He's like turning into Louis right in front of our face. Why do all the men on this show end up purple? What is it?
He looked like he was holding in a colossal dump. Let's be honest.
He did. So at first, when he said, I have to look at what time it is because I have to eat. I used to do like one meal a day. So I would always be staring at my watch like, oh my God, 4:00 is coming. Then I can eat whatever I want for 1 hour. And I thought maybe that's what he was doing. But then I thought, well, no, it's not a diet because then Dolores ordered. She goes, okay, let me order. We'll have the mini gyros and lobster mac and cheese to start. I was like, to start? No wonder the man is purple. What are you people eating in that town? How do you all look so good eating like that? Mini gyros, I've never even heard of that.
Mini gyros. And by the way, when they do come, they're sort of just like gyros. I'm like, those are big. I'll have the mini gyros and lobster mac and cheese. I don't know how those two things go together. I don't know.
Or how they're
I don't know what's going on.
appetizers, but I want to move to this town.
So Paul's like, oh, so what's going on? And she's like, well, I don't know. I haven't sat with you. You know, I've got a lot of dirt that what happened. He's like, oh yeah, what happened? So she now talks about the bougie brunch, but of course she centers it on her story. Like all this crazy stuff happens, and she was like, well, I brought up that Frank's getting engaged. Frank and Brittany. It was the talk of brunch. It was pretty much the only thing that happened at the bougie brunch, all that I can remember.
Yeah. And she's like, and they're saying, when is Paulie going to get married? When's he going to get a ring? And I said, no, it's okay. Listen, a ring, what? I'd like a piece of real estate more than a ring, and he's like, wow. She goes, anyway, there's no reason to talk about that until this divorce is final, but here we are waiting for mac and cheese. And, you need to finalize what you're doing, Paulie. And he goes, oh, so what? You think that he goes, what do you think if I get divorced, I'm just going to get down on one knee and get engaged to you the next day? And she goes, no, I don't think that. I don't think
it. She goes, listen, Paulie.
It's
not
so
about
funny. She's
When
like,
she
I'll
said
communicate.
She said take. That was hilarious. I rewound it. I was like, did she really just do that? Even Dom chuckled. It's always, to me, my favorite parts on Bravo is when Dom is like, he's always sitting nearby when I'm watching. It's like playing some game on his phone. And whenever he like perks up and it's like, did she just say that? That's my favorite. So listen, Paulie, it's not about me being upset about getting engaged. That's not what I'm gunning for here. Let me explain this. Okay, listen, explain this to me. What's taking so long? Because it's getting on my nerves a little bit. Look at me. Look how angry I am. These mini gyros are arriving before the wedding ring. What's happening here?
Look at me slowly enjoying this delicious lobster mac and cheese. I care very much about getting engaged. I'm so upset. Do you hear that, Melissa Gorga? Does everybody hear it? Here I am getting mad at Paulie like you all want me to do. Paulie, take it away.
I feel like the culinary world will draw a line between mini gyros and lobster mac and cheese faster than you will ever get engaged with me. Okay? He's like, oh, so now you're getting angry. He's like, no, now I'm getting angry. He goes, okay, so go on. Well, I'm getting frustrated a little bit. Oh, Arya, why is he getting upset? He's the one who's been getting divorced for years and years and years.
Yeah, this is a situation. This man does not want to get married to Dolores. And I think Dolores knows this. And instead of just saying, we're not going to get married, I don't want to get married. I'm fine not getting married. I just want to live my fucking life with my kids and my 10 dogs and no stairwells in my house. Can everybody just leave me the fuck alone? For some reason, that's unacceptable to the people around her. And so she's acting like, I don't know. Because at this point, it's just happening so much that I just have to believe that Dolores just doesn't want to get married, don't you think? Why would she just keep dating fuckwits who don't want to get married constantly? It's just, yeah. I can get one or two, but my God, this is like been going on for years.
I think she just wants to be with someone who wants to like really share his life with her. And I think Paulie does share his life with her in a way that David did not. But Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell if she really wants to get married or not, to be honest. I think she kind of does, believe it or not.
I mean,
think
I'm just
she's-
getting the sense that she doesn't because she's got what she wants. Like, she's with this guy all the time. She's living with him. They've got a fabulous life together. They travel. They do all this great stuff. She's still really close with her ex, and he doesn't mind. And then he's still really close with his ex, and she doesn't mind. And he's obviously got some kind of issue where he wants to hold on to all of his damn money. Which is why I think he doesn't want to get married. But I don't know. I just get the impression that she doesn't care, and she's doing this scene to just appease everybody who's like, Dolores is a doormat, you know?
Yeah.
So she's like, look at me, getting furious over lobster mac and cheese. I'm so mad. And Paulie's just taking the instructions. Like, we're going to argue about getting married. He's like taking it too far, where he's like,
Oh, do you want a piece of me now? Would you like a piece? Well, guess what? Your pizza just delivered. It's a Poli pizza. Take a piece, bitch. You're not getting married to me. It's like,
Paulie, geez, I said we're going to have a slight disagreement about marriage at the rails, but the Bonita rails.
The Bonita Experience by Rails by the Sea. So she's like,
The bespoke rails experience by Bonita.
the Bonita pop-up at Rails by the river. So Dolores is like, you know what? This is a situation that's nothing new for me. I've already been through this with David. And we see a flashback of David being like, oh, yeah, as soon as we finish the house. I mean, as soon as I finish my 5th degree at Stanford. Oh, wait, I mean, as soon as I figure out cold fusion.
Yeah.
So she's like, you know what? Me not moving in with David because I wasn't engaged. I didn't move in because I wasn't engaged. It was definitely smart. But now I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Paulie? I moved in with Paul almost a year ago, but I'm still not engaged.
She's like, well, they don't get engaged to me if I don't move in with them, and they don't get engaged to me if I do move in with them. So which way do I win here? You know?
Yeah.
So she's like, I mean, come on, Paulie, you could solve world peace before you get divorced. I mean, what's going on here? He's like, I mean, we're sifting through what we want to separate. It's what you do in a divorce. It takes years and years, decades. They could take 4 or 5 more years. And she's like, that's how long it's going to take to digest this lobster mac and cheese, Paulie. All right.
This is also bullshit, by the way. And he's like, yeah, it's been filed for 2 years, so it's like it's coming up on the 3rd year anniversary. So do you maybe think that I'm not telling the truth? And she's like, no, I'm not saying I don't think you're not telling the truth. Listen, Paul, I'm a very easygoing person, taking a little bit of a long time though, like maybe I'll wake up one day and say, I'm going to have to rethink this, sort of like how I immediately said that after I ordered mini gyros and lobster mac and cheese. I should probably rethink this.
He's like, well, I would prefer if you do that right sooner than later, because I'm not rethinking anything. So if you're in the process that you possibly have to rethink it, you might need to check in with yourself and think about things. You better think about things real fucking good, lass. You better think about it real fucking good. Because this piece is about to walk out. You're about to see a butt walking away from you. Hope you enjoyed it. She's like, Jesus, Paulie, can we just finish our dinner?
I know.
This show killing the temper on the men.
Also, I don't like Paulie giving attitude like, well, divorces take 3 years and we're on year 2. So like this could be another year. But you guys broke up. Like, didn't they break up like 10, 15
This is
years
the
ago?
9th year of their divorce. No. Like he's acting like it's just, yeah. And listen, we talked about this with Summer House and really every show on Bravo right now, almost. The man is telling you he does not want to get married. And when he just said to you, what do you think? I'm going to get divorced, and then automatically jump down on one knee. There's a 90% chance this guy is not going to marry you. So if that's really what you want, this is probably not the way. But I don't know that it is. Or maybe they're just faking it because you know what, I say all that, but I want these 2 kids to stay together. I like them.
I like them together. I agree. But I also, whether it's fake or not, I don't like that she has a very reasonable expectation and he's getting impatient with her when he is the one dragging his feet. Because guess what? We both know people who have had divorces that were much faster than 3 years. It can be done. And I don't know what they're sorting. I don't know what they're sorting through. Maybe like his stacks of medium polo shirts. But as far as I can tell, this thing could be wrapped up faster.
Yeah, in my family, someone in my family just got divorced, and she was like, okay, you know what? I'm not into this marriage anymore. She went straight to the lawyer, got papers drawn up, and she's like, here's some papers. Sign these. And he's like, oh, this sucks. And then he signed them. And then they were like, well, this sucks. Okay, well, see you later.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the easiest. I think just because they both agreed not to make each other's lives hell, which is a nice way to do it. But just to your point, it can be done.
Does Paul even have a kid? Does Paul have a kid?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
Why do I think that Paul has a kid? I think they have a kid. Wait, what's his name? Real Housewives of New Jersey. Paul.
He doesn't have a last name, just Paulie.
Paulie Connell. Paulie Connell children. Let's see. He's a proud father of 2 sons, Cameron and Brooklyn, and he often takes to social media to provide updates on his mini-me's. Brooklyn, another Brooklyn.
Another Brooklyn. All right, well, let's move on. So now we're at the Cabral house with Nate and Danielle, and they're getting ready for Fashion Week. And
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Like, I never get nervous about anything. I could be in front of 1 million people and sing and dance, and I'll still be mad at my father. And I'm not nervous because like this, but like, I don't know. Like, what you think is like New York Fashion Week? Like, you think like Carrie Bradshaw's Sexy in the City, and like, you're like, oh my God, I can't compete. And I'm like, okay, it's not that. This is a kid's show. It's my first one. I don't need that. I'm like, well, congratulations. You've actually ruined New York Fashion Week. It's officially over now. Anna Wintour is going to retire. Fashion's over.
I think it ended when Kyle Richards showed up with her moo-moos.
Her moo pants. So
That was the end when Kyle had a moo show at Fashion. Wasn't that what she showed? Moo-moos? I can't.
It was like,
the
it was
Kyle
a lot of
caftan.
oversized loungewear, like pants that were dragging along the floor, shiny
Fashion Week
things.
ended a long time ago. So Danielle's like,
Yeah, I got all this stuff done for Fashion Week, and I'm just seeing it right now. It's like crazy to see all the stuff I got done for Fashion Week, because it's like I had this idea in my head, and then now I'm unboxing it, and I'm looking at it, and look, it's all this stuff that was in my head.
yeah, it's all fucking bonkers, okay? None of it makes sense. And frankly, all of it looks like it doesn't talk to its father. I'll tell you that much. It looks like strained parental relationships. So that's what I would call this line. Rebellious daughter.
It's awful. If anyone buys any of this clothing for their child, just know that all of your friends are laughing at you and probably disinviting your child to play dates. I'm just
And
gonna
you
say
better
that right
hope
now.
you don't pass social services on the sidewalk, because they would have grounds.
Well, I do hear that CPS does get involved with fashion emergencies.
So Nate's like, yeah, your mom's working so hard, right, kids? So like, oh, look, all those late nights and hard work that you've done. I mean, look, like all those episodes of The Nanny that you watched just to get some more Fran Drescher fashion in. I mean, this is great. Hey, question: wasn't Bougie Kids where she made outfits for kids that match the outfits of the adults? Wasn't that the point? The mom and the daughters are dressed exactly the same in matching outfits.
Oh,
So
perhaps.
why is it just the kids? Where did she cut out the part where the mom is supposed to be living her life through her child? Because that was the best part of it. You can't just nix that idea.
Unfortunately, Naomi Campbell was booked and was not able to participate with. Unfortunately, Claudia Schiffer and her daughter were not able to participate in the Bougie Kids fashion debut, but I'm sure next time we'll get to see the full vision of Danielle's line.
So they're talking about how Melissa's going to be coming.
And she's really excited about coming, which is really nice. She's been like supportive, which is really cool. About like she's gonna come. Some of our friends are gonna come. My mom not gonna come because she's got the nerve to be on a European vacation. So basically picking my brother's side. Basically, I'm never talking to that bitch again.
I'm not going to talk to ships. If I see a ship, I'm not going to talk to it. So then she talks about her godmother's coming, and she's like, yeah, my godmother's my dad's first cousin, and she's been like a second mom to me, and like a lot of my bouginess I get from my godmother, and like she's always dressed in nines and Louis Vuitton and everything. And wait, hold on one second. Yeah, I'm not going to talk to her anymore. I decided I don't want to talk to her anymore.
I'm done with it now. How are you dressed to the nines like the lady who wears Louis Vuitton everything? You wear Louis Vuitton nothing. What are you talking about?
Like even the people who work at Van Heusen are embarrassed when you walk in.
You look like a dryer sheet with a ribbon tied around it. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no. So Danielle is like saying how she's like, you know what, like growing up, even if I was like, I don't know, baking a cake, to her it was my godmother was always like the best cake ever. And like maybe when I was like, maybe that's why I was messed up.
because I always thought all my cakes were good. But like, I don't know, let me think about this. Even at 38, it's still the most special girl in the world to have. So it means the world to have her come into my bougie kids. You don't get a prize because an adult thought your cake as a 5-year-old was good. That's what all adults say to all kids.
Well, yeah, she's just kind of like hanging on to like one of the last people she hasn't dumped yet, basically. And trying to convince us all that she does have those relationships. So Danielle's like,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, he would have loved it. Like, he would have loved to see it for sure, like that. But like, it would have just been too much on my mind, you know. But I'm just already so nervous. Like, have my kids walking down there and just thinking my dad probably wishes this is my brother's fashion show, fashion week. I can't do it. Fuck my dad. Fuck him.
Yeah, it's too much stress to have a guy who just loves me purely to come to my event. I can't do this.
Yeah.
You know that he was outside the Fashion Week with his fist in his face. Going, oh.
you just hear thumping. Let me in, please.
Turn up the music.
Hey, Anna Wintour, can you give this gift to my dad? I'm not talking to him. Thanks so much.
He's like a big tray of dollar store gifts that say Bougie Brunch. Thank you. So golf. Now it's a golf club, and this is the other team. This is Team Marge and Lexi. So they come up and they're going to do clubs for a cause. Okay, this is where we golf for a cause. Okay, what is the cause? I forgot. Ben, do you remember what the cause was? The clubs for a cause benefits first responders and children of first responders who don't golf very good. Okay, it's for children with handicaps, and by that I mean golf handicaps. They're fine. They can walk fine. But you know what? They do have golf handicaps, which is actually very normal. It's basically for children that golf.
Now, if you're wondering why would I be raising money for Teresa, you're sadly mistaken. She's a slow responder, not a first responder. Okay, so she's Margaret. I just forget this from earlier this season that she has some sort of beverage soiree. That's what she's hawking on this.
I do not remember her having a beverage called soiree. How is that possible? We watch every episode of this.
I don't remember soiree at all. It's just I remember I read an article recently. Oh, because the whole thing, there's been so much that happened while we've been gone, but this is sort of old news at this point. But the big thing that's happening with New Jersey is that they're having separate reunions, or they're doing an unconventional reunion this year because it's so fractured. And so when I was reading an article about it in like People last week, it was like they talked about Margaret, like the soiree inventor says such and such, or the soiree such and such. So that was the first time I heard about this. I was like, soiree, what is that?
I looked it up. It's let's see. It's flavored like crazy flavored drinks. Very colorful. Okay. One is called the Coco Colada. It's a lush, lively tropical tease, flirty and fresh with a fragrant finish. The Coco Colada is delicious with a generous slosh of rum over ice. So I guess it's mixers for your drink. This does sound familiar. So there are cans, I guess, that you mix with the drinks. One of them is called the Margarita. It's the Margarita. Did you get it? Is that fabulous? Could you die? Okay, you know what? We're going to have another drink. It's called the Could You Die? And you have it right after you have the Margarita. All right.
Yeah. You know what? We also have something called a Jody Colada and a Jody number 2 Colada. You just have them both at the same time.
Let me tell you something. When your oven goes on the fritz, Jody number 1 Colada will come through for you. I'm saying.
If you need a coaster, we have a Joester. That's where you go, hey, Joe, hold this drink. You know what?
Hey, you know what, Ben? Can I tell you something about a drink soiree? Okay.
Yes.
First of all, could you die? You could. Okay. So, soiree, an elevated affair, an extravaganza to remember, like actually remember. Soiree is alcohol-free. Memories are made with a soiree. So I guess it's for people who don't drink, but if you want to drink, put alcohol in it. That's what I say.
You know what? As Elton John once said, soiree seems to be the hottest word.
All right, so we're at this thing for soiree. And she's like, "What's going on? Hello, nice to see you. Nice to see you. You have so many people here. Person from handicapped children who play golf with no handicaps. Very, very talented handicapped children with golf handicaps. Whatever this is. Would you like a non-alcoholic drink, or would you like some booze in it? You can have either one.
Here, have this one. It's to die for. That's what it's called. Get it to die for. Okay." All right, and here's this one. Yeah, this one's for Joan. No, that's what it's called. It's called This Is for Joan. Enjoy it. It's a lemon lime flavor. That's for you, Joan.
So she's like, today I'm doing a special charity called Clubs for a Cause. Okay. First responders are so selfless. They have suffered so much, which is why I'm wearing a hat about alcohol in
They've suffered,
related event.
they have suffered so much, which is why later on I'm going to drive recklessly on this golf cart and cause injury to other people. So that way, just they can do their job some more.
Yeah, you know what? First responders, what's a better way to recklessly drive and text at the same time than at a party for first responders? Am I right?
They are so selfless and suffered so much, unlike that bitch Jackie Goldschneider, who I have stood up for my entire life. My entire life I've stood up for from the moment I was born. Okay.
I stood up for Jackie in vitro. I was literally I was literally a spermatozoa crawling through to try and find an egg, and that's it. I was standing up for Jackie. I was pushing other spermatozoas out of the way. I was saying, give Jackie a chance in a few years. Give Jackie a chance.
I remember being, I don't know, 3 days old, and my mother, Marge Sr., she put my face onto her breast to breast me. I said, "What? I don't want this nipple. Give it to Jackie. Where's Jackie?
Save it for Jackie.
Somebody
Save
save
it
this
for
milk for Jackie." My entire life standing up for her.
I said, you know what? Save it for Jackie. Put it in a cup. Don't put any alcohol in it this time, Mom. And call it soiree.
Soiree. Jackie, I got some soiree for you. It's from my mother.
Okay, so they're talking about this, drink or whatever. So then the Fudas come, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's the fabulous Fudas." That's what I'm calling you now. So until the audience believes it, because honestly, we've got to do something. We've got a whole show with a bunch of losers here. So let's try and make something happen. Come on, Rachel Fuda. Rachel Fuda, remember how you told me you'd like to tap dance? Do it right now. Hey, Rachel Fuda, you want to cheat on John? Do it with the soiree guy. Do it over there. He knows handicap people, golf handicap people. Go do it.
So just people are arriving, and then they start like piling into golf carts, start giving the stuff around. And then we cut over to a Mexican restaurant where Jen Fessler is sitting. Jen Fessler is sitting talking to a waitress. She goes, "I want a margarita, please." And then Jennifer Aiden walks up, and they sit down. So they're going to have like a little lunch together.
Oh, hello, boo-boos. You look frickin' adorable today. Frickin' adorable, I tell you. I've never seen anybody look cuter than you. Hmm?
Oh, thank you, baby. This is Mama Chic.
It's like, leggings, I'm not a jean girl. You'll find that you'll never find me in a jean. Hold on. I gotta tweet that.
There's some jeans in my block, baby.
So
She's like, so they start talking and talking about they decide to get a gigantic margarita to share it together because they're wacky girlfriends. And so Aiden is like, "Oh yeah, we just love each other now. Just
Sitting on the plane together to Ireland. Shit's a real good time, that one.
So they start talking about kids and making small talk and stuff like that. And then we talk about the clean slate. And Jennifer Fessler's like, "So you're getting back together with Melissa? I heard that you had a lunch with Melissa. How'd that go?" She's like,
We're on a slate. Me and Melissa, that's us. We're on a slate together.
she's like, "Clean slate." She's like,
Yeah, it's clean. It's not dirty, but it's not clean. It's just sort of like a slate. Just sort of average amount of dust build up after a few days before the cleaning lady gets there, baby.
So then back on the golf course, it's Marge, Lexi, Rachel, and Melissa and Dolores are all there now. And they're all talking about the boys. And Marge is like, "Look, let's give these boys a drink. They're very, very cute. Boys, you want some soiree? Anybody want a margarita?"
"It's to die for." It's the flavor. So, they're giving them out and everything. And she's like, "This was great. Everyone, thank you so much. This is great." And Laura's like, "Thank you. So I've got to work off that mini gyro I had for dinner." So Melissa's like, Melissa's going to be having a housewarming. And so she's asking if they're all coming. And they're looking to come and everything. And she's like, "By the way, guys, just so you know, I did invite Jackie because, listen, I don't want to be mean." She's like, "Of course. I mean, you're not going to not invite her, right? Like, the girl will fucking spiral, and then she'll have to thank you for, putting her into a darkest hour, all that bullshit, classic Jackie Goldschneider bullshit," which, that's the flavor of this. Classic Jackie Goldschneider bullshit. It's actually really good, delicious soiree.
Darkest hour, the Jackie Goldschneider drink. All right? It's made out of bullshit and tears.
Oh, does anyone want to try this new flavor? It's called "I Supported You All My Life." It goes great when you're hanging out with Jackie.
So Melissa's like, yeah, and I know this is going to shock everybody, but I also invited Jen because we just need to start fresh. So then back to Fessler. She's like, so you're doing a housewarming? Tell me about the housewarming.
Hi, I'm gonna go to Melissa's house, baby.
She goes, oh, yes, I'm going too. I'm going to go. And so this giant margarita goes, is placed right between them. And then they are drinking from it and everything. And Jennifer's like,
Yeah, so I think the both of us are gonna be respectful, and we're not gonna talk about Teresa to each other. And we're just going to try to take it, just like that. And she acknowledges that we're all going to be together on multiple occasions and has to do what's best for me, baby. Because what's best for me is letting go of hostility and moving on. And I haven't told her yet that I'm going to the housewarming party, but I'm sure it'll go well, right, baby?
And she's like, Teresa says it doesn't bother her, but of course it's going to sting her. And she's like, I just don't need this negative energy, though, so I got to try it.
Well, I mean, having a similar situation, I'm becoming even friendlier with Teresa. So that's very interesting to see who's going to get upset and who's not going to get upset. Ooh, who's going to get mad about us having a giant margarita? I just love it. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to have a giant margarita if I want to have a giant margarita, and no one's going to stop me. And that's my stance, the Jen Fessler stance. I shall have margaritas with whoever I want to. Isn't this fabulous?
It's like, what a bummer in this group. People hate each other one minute and love each other the next minute. And Jennifer's like,
yeah, for example, when we were at Danielle's party, baby.
And Jennifer Aiden starts talking about how Danielle, once again, was accusing her of setting her up, accusing Jennifer Aiden of setting her up about the Melissa thing last season.
Which she did. And then they move over to the Lena thing, where she's like,
and she wasn't happy that I had Lena at my brunch. And she was going on about Lena being in the VIP section. She was saying, who's Lena to be here in the VIP section?
And Fessler's like,
who is she? Lena's a woman who does hair. A woman who does amazing hair, big hair, small hair, bobs, shaves, combs, curls. She is Lena, the hair lady. Who wouldn't put Lena in the VIP section? I mean, really.
It's very gross. And then Rachel and Teresa started getting into it, but I have to say, Teresa was super calm. She was more triggered by Danielle than she was by Rachel, which was very surprising to me, baby.
And then she did say to Rachel that I wasn't trying to say that John Fuda was a drug dealer. Right now, I was saying that he was a drug dealer in the past, which is totally different, baby.
Oh, I'm so glad she was actually taking accountability and saying, listen, I don't mean it. I wasn't saying that he is a drug dealer, and I appreciate that. Anything to help me have a mental workaround for suddenly becoming friends with Teresa.
truly. I mean, it is just crazy. What does that mean? Wow, look at Teresa. What a good person. I was just calling him a drug dealer in the past. So she's like,
yeah, but then Rachel wouldn't have it. I mean, Rachel was fighting with her, and it ended up with Teresa leaving. She got no closure. No closure. She did get a pair of underwear made out of plastic bags from a garbage store with feathers glued to it. And crotchless, by the way. I don't know if she's going to be able to wear those, but it was a nice thought.
Hey, what was that? What's that funny saying you're always saying? Something about you always don't give a nothing, or whatever. You do something with a nothing. If you got something you don't want to give, then don't give none in the first place. What has it go again?
oh my God, I'm not even going to do this because did she just like totally jump into cartoonish black scent to do? What was she doing?
That won't be done, baby.
And then I was like, okay, well, that was, and then she repeated it, and she's like,
But she does like a voice.
I was like, oh yeah,
Don't stop. No. She was trying to she was going in, she was having a little visit into black scent world a little bit.
yeah, no, bad. So then we go to the charity golf event thing, and Melissa's like, oh, you missed the show at brunch, and I just didn't want to call you because I know you're on a girls' trip. You didn't want to call me on a girls' trip? You kidding? Denise, I was left alone on a beach with Denise's Manolo. Everybody else literally got sucked up by a storm. I never saw them again. All I was thinking about is she told off Teresa. How did it go? Did you threaten Teresa with anything? I mean, call me. Always call me. Okay? I'm like a helpline for a gym. I'm always open. Call me.
So Melissa's
Helpline
Rachel,
for a gym. I don't know.
I was like, are they always open 24
No,
hours?
I don't know. I don't know why I thought that. Go ahead. Let's just
Yeah.
pretend that didn't happen. Moving along, Let's just pretend the black sent to this part. None of
By
it
the
ever
way,
happened. Right.
Did I tell you? I would love to hear what the audience recommends for this. This has nothing to do with it, but you brought up something that I discovered. I canceled my membership to LA Fitness literally 3 years ago. And I, like last week, discovered that they've been charging me all this time, which was definitely my fault for not realizing it on my bill.
That is some privilege right there.
Well, like, you get charges and you see charges on your thing. And like, I don't know how. I'm actually very good about looking at stuff, but somehow I missed it. And then I realized they have been charging me for 3 years. And at this point, and I have no case. It's my own stupidity. It's my fault. It's my fault at this point. But also I'm like, that's bullshit. And everyone
That
should
is
know
bullshit.
that LA Fitness is shady boots like that. So part of me is like, I want to write an angry letter, but I know that they're going to be like, well, I'm sorry, we never received your letter. Or like, I can't find any record of the letter already been wrote. This is just awful. Part of me is like, well, maybe I should just lease. I've got an LA Fitness membership. Maybe I'll just use it. I don't
Maybe
know.
just
What do you
start
think I should
going
do?
back. I don't know. I've never been to LA Fitness. I don't know if it's nice or not.
I just feel like an idiot.
Oh, don't feel like an idiot.
I feel like an idiot.
No, you're not stupid. But you are thin. So you know what? Maybe it's been helping you all this time, even though you're not going. I do believe that paying for a gym membership burns calories. So it's
Maybe I
working
go
for
into
you.
a
You look
fugue
great.
state. I go into a fugue state and go to the gym. And I
Yeah,
come
maybe
back.
you've been going this whole time and you don't even know it. Okay, so Aiden they're gossiping about whatever happened at the party, and Rachel's like, "Well, I called you Margaret." She goes, "Oh, I know that you called me Fabulous Fuda. I know that you do. I remember my phone rang and I said, 'Fabulous Fuda's calling.'" And then Melissa's like, "So you told her what happened? So I need to ask you after that brunch because like that was intense." She goes, "I'm good. I'm good. I just have way too much shit going on at home to give two shits about anything else. Like shit that Teresa is saying. I just do not care. Okay?"
What does she have going on at home, by the way? I'd like to know. I got too much shit going on at home. Like what? My ice, my ice machine is broken. Too much shit going on. Too much shit. I can't focus on Teresa right now.
John lost a customer's keys the other day. Literally spent all morning looking for them. It was very, very difficult.
John got very excited. He was like, "Oh my God, they're doing a show all about me on Bravo." I said, "No, it's called The Valley, not The Valet." It took him a while to come down from that.
So then Dolores is like, "Well, you listen. I think that you said everything. She said everything. I don't think there's anything left to say. I mean, is there anything left to say?" And Richard goes, "I have nothing. My tank is empty. Yes, I did make a car pun after my husband has been called a parking attendant. I don't know why I did that. Gym customer service is open all night long. I'll tell you that much."
Listen, we can fight about petty shit, but we can't drag it on. For instance, a lot of people are talking to me about when Paul's divorce is like, and I'm like, aren't you upset about the divorce? Like, why is it taking so long? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, why don't we talk about me for a second here, huh? How about that?
And Margaret's like, "I mean, who's even talking about that, Dolores? Who's even talking about it?" And Melissa just smiles because that's Melissa's favorite thing to do. It's like, "Hi, Dolores, you married yet? Oh, Dolores."
I know.
All I
That's
want
why
for
Dolores
you is-
needs to get married, just to shut up Melissa.
Yes, I think that's her. That's what I'm getting at. Is her whole thing is just like, look at me yelling at Paulie, so Melissa will leave me alone. So now the guys are playing golf, and it's supposed to be a fun, wacky guys scene. That fun, wacky guys energy is dead now. It no longer exists. It's dead. It's dead with Louis, and it's dead with this Fuda guy coming in. It's just not fun anymore. Sorry, guys.
And
Fire
Frank
the
is
guys.
nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
So Dolores, we're back, and then Dolores is talking about how Paul is still not divorced, and she's like, he kind of snapped at me, nearly knocked over the pile of mini gyros, and said, "Well, do you think I'm gonna get on one knee and get engaged the day after I get divorced?" And Rachel
Oh
says,
my God. What did
not?
he say? And let me tell you something else about those mini gyros. Okay. I'm going to name a drink after them because I love them so much. I'm going to call the drink, "Have you ever had a mini gyro this not mini?"
Here's
Am
what
I
we're gonna
dead?
do. We're gonna take a glass of 7-Up, and we're gonna put it in a blender with some mini gyros. Whir it together, put it in a can. Boom, you're done. It's called
You're
"Have
done.
You Ever Had a Mini Gyro?" I die.
I die. I'm dead. I'm gyro.
Dead. I'm dead with a soiree. It's a gyro soiree.
So Dolores is like, well, he kind of snapped at me and he said, what do you think I'm going to get on one knee and get engaged the day after I get divorced? And Rachel goes, why not? And Margaret goes, just so you know, everybody, I got married a week after my divorce. Okay, a week after, so it can be done. You were cheating on your husband, to be fair. I mean, you were in the relationship for a really long time.
But so is Dolores and Polly. You know, it would have been faster than a week, but I had to spend 2 days defending Jackie Goldschneider, okay, to the U.S. Post Office. She was missing some mail.
You know why my divorce took a week? Because 6 of those days I had to go in front of the judge and I said, think about Jackie Goldschneider.
Because when we were separating our assets, I said, well, what are we going to say for Jackie Goldschneider? All my life I've defended her. All my life.
Listen, I'm going to get the alimony. That's not even under contest. But you know who else should get alimony? Jackie Goldschneider.
And why are we naming it after Al? Who's Al? Why don't we call it Jackimony? She deserves it all.
Who's getting custody of Jackie Goldschneider? It better be me. I love her.
All my life.
All my life. So she's like, literally 1 week after my divorce, Joe and I were in Vegas. Boom, boom. He locked that shit up. I mean, come on, Paulie. I mean, right after all those papers are signed, go to the altar. But what are you going to do? And Dolores is like, well, I moved in with him. That was a lot for me. But I don't want to talk about anything else. Like, just stop bringing it up, everybody. By the way, I had mini gyros. And Paulie said he wouldn't marry me.
Listen, I don't need a big, huge ring. I mean, I'll take a big, huge ring, but honestly, just make it out of focaccia. I'll be happy. Maybe an alligator, a focaccia alligator. Focaccia, a whole focaccia menagerie, that's all I need. I don't have much to ask for.
Don't even bother. Just get me a ring cam, and I can order myself focaccia and watch little focaccia deliveries arrive. That'll make me happy. That's really all I need.
I can walk from the living room to the kitchen to the living room and watch the focaccia deliveries the entire time on my phone.
Ring, ring. So back to the boys, grilling Polly about getting married, you know. And he's like, well, I'm moving my office from the city and I'm going to go to Jersey. And I hate the guys right now. Isn't that weird? Why do I hate all the men? I don't want to watch them.
Well, either way, Paul is doing some stuff. He's like, oh, I've been thinking about going into business together, me and Dolores. That's the thing. To me, that's the real commitment. You know, that's transitioning to the future, is that we're going to work together. I'm like, yeah, that always works out really well when people work together in families.
You know what? We're not here for the love. We're here in it for the LLC. That's real commitment. They're like, yeah, that's great, bro. That's great. But that is, you know, to the point that they are really a good couple, whether they're married or not. And why I think that Dolores doesn't really give a shit if they're married. This is Dolores' love language. And he is speaking it. Pebble tiles. Picking pebble tiles together in a home. That's her love language. Yeah. That's what she wants to do with her life. You know?
I think that Gorga does not have it quite right. He says, I've known Dolores since I was 5 years old, okay? I remember the first time I jerked off to her. Man, I don't know, how old was I? 9? I don't know. But she don't want to go into business. She wants to sit back, drive Rolls Royces, and he goes to work. I'm like, if Dolores wanted to drive Rolls Royces, she could have had them a very long time ago.
Dolores, when has Dolores ever sat around and been taken care of by some man? That's not how.
She
that's
was
not
literally
the
a
Dolores
police
that we've
officer.
Seen.
Wasn't she like a prison guard at one point?
She was a prison guard. She was everything. She's done 30 jobs. She's always had a career. Joe Gorga is so full of shit.
Yeah, no. She was dealing with a much more rough and tumble lifestyle than I think someone who wants a Rolls Royce.
But listen, it wouldn't be Housewives of Jersey if they didn't say, hey, you know what people really want? A bunch of guys being misogynists on a golf court for a while. Like, you know what we should do? Let's do that thing where someone puts a golf ball in between their ass cheeks and then they all laugh as they like to get the, let's do it again. Let's do it again. People love it.
Yeah, they hit some shots off of tees. One is out of Joe Bonino's butt, and I think it was a Joe Gorga who did it, who like whacked his ass with the golf club, which is, by the way, that sounds like it hurts. I'm going to say that
assault.
Right now.
That is actually assault. So then the ladies back at golf, they're like, oh my God, let's look for the men. I hope they're still sober. So then, let's see, girls now in the golf court, in the golf cart, and they're texting. This is where Margaret's texting and driving. And they're like, Margaret, you're driving. You got to pay attention. She's like, whatever. I'm just texting Joan and saying, am I dead right now? Boom. Literally just crashed. Are we dead? Are we dead? Now it makes more sense.
She literally crashes into someone else. I mean, this is an old trope on Bravo. The Real Housewives driving golf carts and being crazy. But in this case, Margaret really is terrible at it, and she is a terror on the green. So now we go to Fashion Week. We're in New York City, and Danielle's getting out of the car with her kids because it's the Fashion Week. It's time for her big show. Bougie Kids goes to the big city.
Yep, and she's she's back there, and she's like,
Okay, so what do we do? Try the clothes? What do the kids put the clothes on? How's this work? I don't know how it works. I just got this in the mail. Oh my God, the nice lady who works for me, the Tembus, just got these sent over today. Everybody put these on. No one does it too better than me. Am I right? Am I right?
She puts her daughter in this god awful outfit. This was like red. It's like red lycra or something with a tutu. It just looks awful. It's just awful for the tutu industry. And I don't know any parent that would voluntarily put that on their child.
it's child abuse. It is bullying and child abuse.
terrible.
The kids aren't listening to her. They're all running around, which is really funny. And she's talking to a little girl. She goes,
Hey, Smile, you're in New York Fashion Week. How old are you anyway? Yeah, you know what? This is a big deal, little girl, okay? You could crack a smile or else I'm gonna fart in your face.
I don't think smiling's allowed at Fashion Week. I don't think models smile. I don't think she realizes how it works.
I know that kid actually got it right.
Yeah. So it's just like a lot of prep. It's like, backstage mania. Nate and Dominic show up, and, the godmother and everything, and everyone.
Of course,
sits
Melissa's
down.
telling Nate, like, oh, yeah, of course I've done Fashion Week before. Yeah, all my kids have walked in Fashion Week. So, yeah, this is huge for her. I'm just so excited for her because I've already done it. I'm a veterinarian, so I've done this before.
Listen, unless it's the posh fashion show, I'm not interested in watching this stuff on New Jersey. Okay. And I say bring back the posh fashion show. It's time.
Melissa's the one who ruined the posh fashion show.
I
Well, I'm
know,
giving
Melissa
Melissa
ruined
shit
it.
today. Melissa
When did we
ruined
get-
that shit too. You know who has a really good show? Kim D. I love it. And I don't even know what it's called. Oh, is it called Messing with the Big Boy? I think that's her book, like dealing with messing with the big boys or something. But Kim D has a show because we follow Kim D on the Instagram, and I see little clips of it that she posts, and I love it. She's like, "Oh, you know what I feel about it. Let me tell you what I feel about Teresa. I feel like it's a bunch of bullshit. And you know what I have to say to that hairdresser? I don't like you. And I did like you, but now I don't like you. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say about it." It's my favorite thing to scroll past. I love it.
She is hilarious. Oh, God. Bring the Kims back.
Bring the Kims back. It's time.
It's time. And we said the plural. Okay. D
Both
and
of
G.
them. Get Granitel in here too. Get her ass
Yeah,
in here.
get 'em
We need
all in
everybody. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like fashion. It's a fashion show, and Danielle's doing like,
I mean, where the fuck am I right now? I literally just walked into Marie Antoinette version of the Nutcracker.
because the show that was on before her was like modern and like just playing classical music. Then of course her show starts like,
Yeah, that show before hers was so funny. It was so trying to be pretentious, and it was just sad. It was like, wow, a girl doing a plie to dark music. She's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is this? So then her kids come out, and I mean, it really is. It's like if Multiplicity starred Fran Drescher from The Nanny, and they lined up 20 Fran Dreschers and then just started driving her over high speed with buses, and they were just splatting all over the windshield. That's what it looked like. It was hard to watch.
yeah. So it goes on for a long time, and then afterwards Danielle is like, she's in her confessional choking up. She goes,
Oh my God, having my own line was like a conversation that I have like drunk with Nate at a bar. Imagine it. Can you imagine? And like, if young Danielle could see me now, don't worry. Dream as big as you possibly can, and don't let anybody dull your sparkle. Because remember, the people who support you are the people you should never talk to ever again in your life.
So then we go to Teresa's, and Rosie, the golden retriever, is on Teresa's match. She's like,
Rosie, I need to do yogas. Go over there. Go over there. Go over. Rosie went over there. Rosie went to college.
I felt like this was so mean having a dog named Rosie when Poor Rosie, who also should come back, has probably just been waiting by the phone for cousin Teresa to call up. Be like, hey, come on, cousin Teresa, welcome on. We grew up together. Come on, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck you up, Teresa.
Oh, fucking kill her! Remember Rosie at the reunion? You just hear her screaming backstage.
So they're stretching and everything, and Lou's like, okay, I'm gonna stretch you out, Teresa. She goes,
Yeah, okay, do that.
hey, does this feel good?
Yeah, feels good.
Okay, I'm going a little lower.
We gotta release the endorphin disease because nobody's gonna do a sparkle.
So then we go to the Fudas, and Rachel's putting on makeup, and John is, like trying to look really good because he's putting on his Adidas tracksuit and like his best because he's having a housewife scene today. So he's like trying to pump himself up. And she's like, look who it is, Johnny Soprano in your little tracksuit there. He's like, yeah, well, I was going to wear this to the shit show. What do you think? Do I look good? Is this like reunion worthy or what?
Yeah. And so we see, I don't know, I'm confused here. So he's basically, they're getting ready for this big
Meeting.
like
They
sit
have
down.
a big
this
meeting with Teresa and Louis.
Right. And Rachel's like, she's like, well, this is like, this isn't really like a me thing. This is like a you thing. Like, what are you looking to get out of today? Which is funny that she's saying it's not a her thing when it's totally a her thing. He's like, I just want a proper apology for calling me a parking attendant. Oh, wait, so now you want an apology for the parking attendant thing? I thought it was about the drug dealer thing. What is it now?
Yeah. He just wants to be a housewife. It's so sad. And she's like, I mean, was that supposed to be offensive? Like, what are we supposed to be offended? That you're a parking attendant? Are we supposed to be offended? You were offended. You've been freaking out about it ever since she said it. So yeah, you were offended. And he goes, well, I work my tail off every single day. I'm cool with it, but she can apologize to me for saying that. Even though I'm totally proud of my job and don't think it's offensive at all, she can apologize for it, and then she can apologize for calling me a drug dealer. Okay, but you are a drug dealer and a parking attendant, so get over it. Be proud.
They're both on
you know
your
what I
CV.
mean? They're both like decent jobs.
And so then we go back to the other place, Teresa and Louis. And Louis is like, I think it's a great idea that we meet as couples because what it does is that it gives us a chance to end things in one instance, in one chance. And she's like,
Yeah, Louis and I are always trying to be the bigger people.
so
yeah,
true.
Paulie and Louis is close, and so they say you gotta clear the air, so now we're gonna clear the air.
So then she's like,
Yeah, John's gonna demand an apology. And she goes, I can't believe John Fugazi even has the audacity to ask me for an apology. He's got a lot of balls. John Fugazi? Maron. He's got balls like that. Who is he? Sherlock Holmes? John Fugazi?
I don't even want to think about his balls. I was like,
I'm like, ma'am, you were married to Joe Giudice for many years, so we really can't throw stones in glass houses with angel wings.
you can't throw testicles in a sack house. Yeah. So Fuda's back to the Fudas. Rachel's like, I mean, the part that really pissed me off, John, is that something that you've been through in your life has been weaponized, and they've tried to make it into something that it's not. And she had said to me at lunch that I didn't say he was a drug dealer. I said he was a drug dealer. And I'm trying to explain to her that the verb doesn't matter. It's more about the intention behind saying something like that. Like, she wasn't sitting there like, oh, your husband used to be a drug dealer, and then he cleaned up his shit, and now he's an amazing person. She was weaponizing it. She was weaponizing it. And I'm very, very upset with it. But this is more a you thing than a me thing. So you should take care of this and not me, because this has nothing to do with me, John.
I'll tell you what's weaponizing it is the two of you harping on it for episode after episode of this show. When Teresa said it as one thing, and it was already something that was in the newspapers. So but it's a thing that I think all of us forgot and didn't care about. And I would have forgotten about it at this point. But the fact that they have ceaselessly brought it up every episode about how offended they are is actually the thing that is linking this concept of him being a drug dealer with who he is.
Well, and it's also the dildo thing. It's like he keeps every episode. It's like, oh yeah, I guess I got dildos up my ass now, huh? Huh? What? I'm the one who loves dildos. What do I got a dildo up my ass right now? I mean, like, are you cementing on purpose that you're just the drug dealer with dildos in your butt? Because, like, obviously, I kind of love both of those things. So you're kind of a hero to my people. But, sir, like, if you don't want it, then why are you saying it in every episode? You're like literally cementing it as your legacy, you know?
And then he goes, well, you know what? I think that Louis shares like who he is through other people's eyes. So, for example, they accuse me of being a drug dealer, but maybe it's because he's a drug dealer, all right? And they accuse people of maybe he is one.
Good one.
That's a great deduction there.
Were you parking a bug when you thought of that?
He calls me a parking attendant because you know what? He parks cars, and he's a parking attendant. That's why.
Beep, 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 beep. God, I'm too close to that car. Okay, so Teresa and Louis, Teresa's like,
Yeah, I really wish you would say sorry for putting a false narrative out there, right? Because, like, look, his ex came forward and said she never spoke to you, right? Like, even Rachel said that I haven't done anything in my life since I got out of jail. You know, I could sit there and call her names too or whatever, but I don't want to be that person, right? I'm not that person anymore, right?
You're literally the same person who does that.
I mean, you just do it more quietly. And now you've got a teammate, so now you're teaming up with somebody to do it.
You know what? If I got to go back there and grab old Teresa, she's there. And if I got to go back and grab the wolf, I feed 2 wolves every day, Teresa. It's which one I'm going to feed that day. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. What the fuck are you talking about, feeding wolves?
He's saying, he's like, listen, we have both come a long way, but if we need to go pull the wolves out from inside of us, like they're werewolves, and they can be monsters again any moment that they choose. So if he wants to pull out his wolf and unleash on these fucking people, even though he's been holding it back, he feeds 2 wolves, me and you, Teresa, and we've been keeping it in, but we can unleash on these motherfuckers whenever we want to, which is really hilarious because anybody who sees someone like this guy constantly doing yoga with 20 Buddhas in his backyard, everyone knows that this guy is faking and will slit your throat the second he gets a chance. And he's just admitting it, you know? It's all fakery.
So, and then we go back to the Fuda household where they're just continuing to psych each other up and be like, it's either going to be good or it's going to be really bad. And Rachel thinks somehow that Louis is going to talk some sense into Teresa, but we know that's not going to happen. So now so Rachel and John arrive at the restaurant for the big.
Girl, you couldn't shock. You couldn't shock it. You can lobotomize it into Teresa. Like Teresa's a thick skull. You know,
that's a thick skull to get through. Yeah. So they arrive at the Rachel and John arrive at the restaurant. They have a private room, aka the whole restaurant, because no one's there. And they're all getting ready and stuff, and they're sitting down. And now Teresa and Louis show up, and then the Fudas they each order 2 shots of tequila for themselves. So,
I thought this was so funny when Rachel walks in. She goes, "We're here. We have a private room." I'm like, "Oh my god!" For your fucking housewife's husband fight. So
I know.
Stupid. I loved it. It's like, we're getting a private room at Rails today. We're gonna do this right.
Before we start, do you want any mini gyros? So they all sit down, and John's like, yeah, well, I don't think it's appropriate for me to start. Louis like, okay, well, then I'll start. Yeah, well, I think you guys should start. I'm like, he literally just said we're going to start.
All right, so let's start.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, I think you should start.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I think you should start.
So she points to a guest, and
start.
she's like,
I'm going to start now, right?
Start.
Oh, can I?
You should
Drugs. Deals.
Start.
Drugs. Sorry.
Are we started?
Do you have my keys? Do you have my keys?
Are we starting?
Do you have my keys?
Yeah, I got my. Hold on a second. Oh, what's your number again?
I
God
gave you
damn
my
it! She
ticket.
tricked me. She tricked me.
All right, by the way, that Dom Perignon, that's for my brother, all right? Because I heard that he was having a housewarming, and he didn't invite me. So if you guys could take that to him.
they're not your messengers. She's like, by the way, could you deliver this to my brother? No.
Yeah, well, you know what? One of the reasons I'm sitting down today is out of respect for your brother, by the way. He's a good guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wish like, I heard you had tremendous respect for me, and, like, that's what Louis also said, and, like, when I met you guys, like, I never had a problem with you guys before.
And Rachel's like, I do not truly feel like you wanted to be my friend, Teresa.
Well, I get it, because, like, sometimes when you're, like, close to one person, it's, like, hard to get close to another person, which I totally understand. It's Margaret's fault.
Oh, so you're implying that since I'm close with Melissa, that I can't get close to you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because, like, I don't know why you felt that.
But is this something that I need both of you to understand, okay? That if we listen to what everybody was saying, we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now because nobody wants us to sit down with you because you're terrible people. Do you understand? Nobody likes you, okay?
And John's like, actually, I wouldn't be sitting here. Like, oh wow. Thank you for your sacrifice, sir.
John trying so hard. So, she's like, just being honest. She goes,
All right, well, I mean, also, John, like, I felt a connection with you,
and he's like, so what changed? What changed? What changed to go out and call me a drug dealer? She's like,
I wasn't calling you a drug dealer like currently.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
yeah.
So what'd you say?
If you heard that I called you a drug dealer currently, then I'm sorry that you heard that.
Hey, what verb did you use? What verb?
What? What's that? Coming.
But did you use what tense did you use when you said the verb?
Angry corianders.
All right. If you
Why
had
are you
to say it
asking me
again,
about
it's
herbs?
I heard that someone in your past said that you were the biggest drug dealer.
and Rachel's like, but this is what I said to you at lunch, is that to me, it doesn't matter if you said he is or he was. It's the fact that you put that in the universe that we're living in, even though it was already in the universe and people already knew about it.
I didn't put it onto the universe.
You know what I'm saying, Teresa.
It was already on the universe, all right?
Publicly. You put it out there publicly.
Yeah,
Publicly.
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 He's like, so, all right, so let me redirect this conversation, okay? Because I was coming here today to get an apology, and I'm not really hearing that right now.
Did you just hear what I said? I said if you heard that, I said you was a drug dealer currently.
I said that you were the biggest drug dealer in Bergen County, and if I should have said Tenafly, then I apologize.
But you got no right to take my past from 20 years when I was a juvenile that sold marijuana, by the way, which is now legal. So I'm gonna tell you what my past is. She goes,
I don't care.
he's like, well, you should. And
She goes, all right, then tell me then.
he's like, you took that information from a criminal who's currently in jail who manufactured crystal meth.
She's like, John.
And this part, when she goes, John, just stop. That's Jaden's mom. Don't say that.
She's like, I know
When
we're filming a
Teresa
TV show.
outclasses you in an argument, you have lost, sir. I mean, that
That's
Teresa
bad.
can think about your children before you can. You're just a waste of time. At least before you were making an effort, but now you're just kind of like sacrificing your kid to do it. Which, I mean, you've done it before, so I don't know why I'm surprised, but gross.
And she's like,
That's Jaden's mom.
and Rachel's like, no, I'm Jaden's mom. Nice to meet you.
I'm just saying.
It's like, you don't want to know what I got into by bringing that up. You don't know her, and when you guys hash this all up, my son has to go through all this, especially when Rachel and I keep on bringing it up every week on this show.
I was going to say, you brought it up. You guys were the ones who brought it up on the show. That was your storyline in the first season. We're watching the show.
Yeah.
So
he's
Teresa's like, we didn't, and he's like, you excuse me, I am still going. And this is when it turns into John just yelling at Teresa,
he tells a story about how his ex-wife, they were driving and she I guess they were in a fight. She pulled the wheel from him, or he was driving and hit a telephone pole at 55 miles an hour. He broke bones and he could have died, yada, yada, yada.
So, but okay, and also it's like this. I'm sorry, I got lost because I'm trying to do the timeline of. So she was on drugs, but you weren't on drugs. That was just your girlfriend. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. It's too gross and dark, so I decided not to go down that path. But I love that he's like, you don't even know what happened because this woman at this actual location, right across the street, hit. I was like, you came back to the scene of your car crash to have your housewives argument with Teresa? What is wrong with you?
And he's
What's
like,
wrong
you
with
owe
you,
me an
seriously?
apology. You owe me an apology. And she goes,
Yeah, well, then you owe us an apology for bringing my husband's name up.
he's like, no, this isn't tit for tat. She's like, no, it is. It is tit for tat.
So what was his thing last year that he did anti-Louis? Because they were all going for Louis last year, and he just helped dogpile on top of Louis, or what?
Yeah, I don't even remember what the Louis stuff was last year because it's been like so many years of Louis just having creepy, strange behavior.
And there was so much last year that got so toxic and crazy, and the fights were so crazy at the reunion that I'm like, which part was?
Well, I think the thing really came down to the fact that Louis hired Bo Dietl and got like, folders on everyone, dossiers on everyone, and like John didn't like that.
Right, but Teresa is saying that John Fuda started it. She's saying you threw the first punch with us, and so our talking to your ex-wife was revenge for you throwing the first punch. But I don't remember what the first punch was that she's talking about. So any listener, feel free to tell us in comments on Instagram. We'll read them, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I really
what it
don't
was.
remember.
Okay.
So they're basically like he's asking for an apology, and she's like, "Well, I want an apology too," which is very Teresa. And Teresa's like saying that she's like, you owe my husband. You hurt his business by putting a false lie out there. Maybe at the reunion, John said something about Louis' business, like it wasn't real or it was this or that. Who knows? But eventually, John is like, you know what? I agreed to meet with you to have the conversation, but it's never going to happen like this. So here's how it's going to go. I agreed to meet you under that pretense. It's not happening. I don't find your apology authentic.
It's like, you don't gotta say the rules.
And he's like, so in this conversation, I don't give a shit what game you think you're playing, okay? But your apology is not authentic with me, girlfriend. Like he starts like going off and yelling at Teresa. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed for him. It's so hard.
So
to
he basically is like, come on, we're gonna go. So they get up to leave, and she's like, but you brought up his name first. Because I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You're gonna apologize for what you did, and if you don't want to, then this conversation's over. So then,
I did apologize. Currently.
And then he's like, no, you did not. She goes,
All right then, see you, John Fugazi.
and he goes,
Which
yeah,
also-
Fugazi, just remember. She goes,
Yeah, remember what, Fugazi? Sherlock Holmes Fugazi.
you're the poster child for mortgage fraud.
Yeah, fuck you.
so he's like, you're a money launderer. She goes,
Oh yeah, you're fucking with the wrong girl, let me tell you.
and he goes, oh yeah, baby, I love a good fight. Let's do it, baby. She goes,
Oh yeah, you got a lot coming to you, drug dealer.
I love, like after this whole thing, like
I'm sorry. No, I only called him a drug dealer in the past, not currently. Hey, fuck you, drug dealer.
it's classic Teresa.
It was a fun episode. I loved it.
Hilarious.
yeah, don't yell at women, stupid. What's wrong with you?
All right, well,
Teresa.
everyone, thank you
Whatever,
so much.
drug dealer, bye, Fugazi.
Bye, drug dealer.
Everyone, thank you so much for being here, for listening. We sure do appreciate you, and we'll be back with more recaps. So, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.